No.
I know, I'll try my best. Jai. Only by your mercy, Maharaj. Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances of Srila Prabhupada.
Jai
Today,
Ho.
Maharaj will be talking about the Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, second chapter. The name of the second chapter is Remembrance of Lord Krishna, and the verse number 1 and 2. I'll share my screen. Just give me a second. Yes, we are there.
Very well. Everybody use the toilet at the flush, bro. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sri Sukha Uvacha Iti Bhagavata Prista Shatravartam Priyasrayam Pratavaktum Nakotseha Vaktum Nakotseha Autkantya Smartate Swaraha. Translation. Sukadev Goswami said, when the great devotee Uddhava was asked by Vidura to speak on the message of the dearest Lord Krishna, Uddhava was unable to answer immediately due to excessive anxiety at the remembrance of the Lord. Verse number 2. Ya pancha hanayo matra pratar asaya yachchitaham Tannacharajayanyasya Sarpayan Balalilaya. Translation. He was one who, even in his childhood, at the age of 5 years, was so absorbed in the service of Lord Krishna that when he was called by his mother for morning breakfast, he did not wish to have it. Purport. From his very birth, Uddhava was a natural devotee of Lord Krishna, or a Nitya Siddha, a liberated soul. From natural instinct, he used to serve Lord Krishna, even in his childhood. He used to play with dolls in the form of Krishna. He would serve the dolls by dressing, feeding, and worshiping them, and thus he was constantly absorbed in the play of transcendental realization. These are the signs of an eternal liberated soul. An eternal liberated soul is who is a devotee of the Lord, who never forgets him. Human life is meant for reviving one's eternal relation with the Lord, and all religious injunctions are meant for awakening this dormant instinct of the living entity. The sooner this awakening is brought about, the quicker the mission of human life is fulfilled. In a good family of devotees, the child gets the opportunity to serve the Lord in many ways. A soul who is already advanced in devotional service has the opportunity to take birth in such an enlightened family. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 6:41. Suchinam srimatam gehe yoga prasta vijayate. Even the fallen devotee gets the opportunity to take his birth in the family of well-situated Brahmin or in a rich, well-to-do mercantile family. In both these families, there's good opportunity to revive one's sense of God consciousness automatically, because particularly in these families, the worship of Lord Krishna is regularly performed and the child gets the opportunity to imitate the process of worship called archanam. The Pancharatriki formula for training persons in devotional service is temple worship, whereby the neophyte devotee gets the opportunity to learn devotional service to the Lord. Maharaj Parikshit also used to play with Krishna dolls in his childhood. In India, the children in good families are still given dolls of Lord like Ram and Krishna, or sometimes the demigods, so that they may develop the aptitude of service to the Lord. By the grace of the Lord, we were given the same opportunity by our parents in the beginning of our life, which was based on this same principle. Umagyan timidandasya girajana salakaya chaksun militam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha nama om Vishnu padaya Krishna Krishnaya bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Panchakalpa Tarubhisha Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaho Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So in Greece there was a famous teacher called Diogenes, and he was famous for teaching young children education in different subject matters. He was a pundit and a noted and respectful and honored teacher. So one time, one lady came with her son. Actually, she didn't come with her son, she came. And she said, "My dear Diogenes, I have a child and I would like to enter into your school. How old is he?" Diogenes asked, "How old is the boy?" And she said, "He is 5 years old." Diogenes said, "We should immediately start. We are already 5 years too late." So what he was saying is that, education for children, particularly those who are born in families where their parents and their guardians are devotees, education starts from the womb, actually even before that. Garbhadana samskara is the process. There's a whole science about that. There's books also on how to bring in a elevated soul into the womb, and then from there, bring that soul into the world and give it the opportunity for the human form of life, which is to awaken our relationship with the Lord in devotional service. And so education in nowadays is more or less giving some external information, which is pretty much irrelevant to a person's goal in life or even to their well-being. It's all facts and figures. And basically, it kind of sets one up in order to become a cog in the machine to help the economic situation develop. In other words, modern education is about getting some kind of employment in the world, so one can be part of the social environment and contribute in that way, and also gain some pecuniary rewards in the form of good job and some money. So, but that is not real education. Adato Brahma Jigyasa, the scriptures say. Real education is that which awakens the actual purpose of life. And human life is defined in the Shastras as the opportunity for making a solution to all problems of life. If one misses that opportunity, it's the great waste. Just like if you have no money, then in one sense, you have to struggle, of course, in order to get something. But if you have a lot of money, but you don't know how to use it, or you don't use it, it's a greater travesty. Why? Because you have the opportunity and you don't have it, and you're not intelligent, or for whatever reason, you don't take advantage of it. So to have a human birth is rare, but to use the human birth in its goal of life is actually the purpose of that human birth, no other reason. And so, therefore, here we see both Uddhava and Maharaj Pariksha, and in Prabhupada also mentions at the end of the purport, he was also fortunate enough to have childhood training when he was, growing up in his family environment. So much so that when he was 5 years old, he organized a little Rath Yatra for his friends in the neighborhood. And it was a 3-day festival. The boys had gotten together, they built a little cart, they had some small Jagannath deities, and they were doing Rath Yatra every day. And the people who were grown up, the elders in the area were saying they were quite amazed to see how these children were so nicely doing devotional service at such a young age in a very organized way. So Prabhupada gives credit to, being born in a very good family where he, from the beginning of his life, it was only about Krishna consciousness. So if one is fortunate enough to be in that family, then one has a great opportunity to make fast progress back home, back to Godhead. But that is not the qualification. The qualification is if one is fortunate enough to come in contact with the bona fide spiritual master. That is one's good fortune. And then if one takes advantage of that, learns from the spiritual master, and learns how to serve both the spiritual master and the Lord, then one can gradually and systematically move forward on the path of bhakti and ultimately attain the purpose of life, which is self-realization. Self-realization means to understand who is God, who you are, and what is your relationship with God, and to act in that relationship also. And then self-realization manifests. And so here we see the importance of those who have children or plan to have children, even from the early age. One should arrange for these children to get everything they need to grow up in Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada would also say those children who are born in our movement, that means in their last life, they were engaged in devotional service, but didn't finish their, process of self-realization. So they pick up where they left off in the last life, and they get birth in a good family, either in a pious and religious family, or here it says mercantile family. Of course, that's a little tenuous because mercantile families nowadays, unless you're born in a mercantile family that is also pious, and then sometimes one gets enamored by having wealth and having good opportunities for sense gratification and deviates from the actual goal of life. But still, it's considered a good birth. Why? Because one doesn't have to spend time worrying about their bodily needs, and they can use the time for self-realization. That's what that life in a good family provides, full focus on the goal of life. So and the children who come into our movement are very special because that means in their last life, somehow they didn't finish and now they've been put in our care, and it's our duty, as it says in the Srimad Bhagavatam spoken by Rishabdev. One should not become father, one should not become mother, one should not become guru, one should not become a teacher unless they can deliver their children, their students, their disciples from the cycle of birth and death. So it's a great responsibility and to be in a position of caring for others, especially children who grow up in this movement, when one has to give them the maximum amount of opportunities to grow into their into the process of devotional service. Of course, the children, when they grow up, sometimes they have their choice and deviate or go away from Krishna consciousness. But if the seed is planted early, we'll see that many of them, after some time, they'll come back and again become fixed in their devotional service, because that seed is never lost. In devotional service, whatever you do, no matter how small or how great the service is, it remains with you. The benefit remains with you eternally. And it's understood that if you engage in devotional service this life and you finish, say, 80%, then in the next life you will begin at 80% and then finish up the remainder. In other words, you'll get an opportunity in the next life. Krishna will arrange you for you to come in contact with the association of Vaishnavas and have the opportunity to finish your sojourn in this material world. So any devotional service is what we say money in the bank. It's never lost. In material life, whatever you do is lost in due course of time. You may be the wealthiest and greatest person in the world and have so much fame and name and position and power and wealth, but at the time of death, it's all wiped away and none of it has any meaning anymore. So therefore, one should see what is the greatest gain in life is to engage in devotional service ultimately. And as devotees, they are well aware of that, but sometimes we take this opportunity and we don't take it serious. If we don't take it serious and we don't become purified from our material desires, then at the time of death, we may have to take another birth, of course, in a good family, but still, coming back is not the idea. Srila Prabhupada would say, everything is in place. All the mercy you need and all the facilities you need to become fully Krishna conscious in this life is available. So don't waste time and think, oh, if I come back in next life, I'll get another opportunity. But there's a catch to that. The catch is whatever has stopped you in the previous life will be there in the next life as something you have to face and purify and then reach the goal. In other words, whatever obstacles are there left in this life that is causing you to take birth, you'll face them again in the next life. So therefore, there's no guarantee that even in next life, you may still fall again because of whatever is blocking. So therefore, Lord Chaitanya has given the formula. Again, Harinam, Harinam, Harinam eva kevalam, kalom nasteva nastyeva nastyeva gatyanyata. By chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and associating with and serving Vaishnavas, one can execute the process of devotional service successfully. And he also added a third principle, which is called Jiva Doya. Whatever you gain in devotional service, share it with others and give them an opportunity to grow in devotional service. This is called mercy. Jiva Doya, Doya refers to mercy. Jiva refers to the living entity. Giving mercy to others is actually the duty of one who has received the mercy. Not that we become satisfied with our own spiritual development. Actually, when you give it, it grows. And if you don't give it, there's a chance you can also lose it. So therefore, we call it preaching, but that's just a general label. It means showing compassion to others in one form or another by finding ways to reach out to the conditioned souls. And especially in Kali Yuga, there's no scarcity of conditioned souls. There's so many, and many of them are struggling, looking for answers and how to find happiness in life. We have the answer. It's Krishna consciousness, because Krishna consciousness is the platform of freedom from all anxieties, freedom from all dualities, freedom from all inebrities. In other words, on the spiritual platform, all of your desires for success and happiness is automatically fulfilled through the process of chanting, serving, and associating with Vaishnavas. So this is the process. And here we see the benefit of those who had the good fortune to come in contact with here Uddhava. Uddhava is a very intimate associate of Krishna. He is actually Krishna's cousin. Krishna's father was Vasudeva. Vasudeva had many brothers, and one of the brothers was the father of Uddhava. And therefore, Uddhava and Krishna were cousins. Uddhava was so attached to Krishna, it says that here, that even when his mother would call him for breakfast, he was so absorbed, even in his childhood, playing with Krishna dolls, that he didn't even wish to have his breakfast. So he was that much determined to keep his consciousness on Krishna. And of course, the life of Uddhava is very interesting. How when Krishna was leaving the planet, Uddhava actually wanted to leave with Krishna and return with Krishna to the spiritual world, but Krishna told him, I have a mission for you. I want you to go to not Namisharanya, but to Badrinath, and speak to the sages there in Badrinath and tell them that I have left, and to give them some instructions about how they should continue on in their spiritual life. And then he also gave him that instructions. Uddhava was really sad. He wanted to go with Krishna. He was so attached to Krishna. But then again, to serve Krishna is higher than to associate with Krishna. Of course, if we get a chance to associate and serve, that is the highest. But those who are serving Krishna are actually pleasing Krishna, and pleasing Krishna is the actual way to purify our heart and get the mercy of Krishna. So Uddhava was difficult for him, but he did it. And then, of course, during that time, he met the gopis. And when he met the gopis, he understood what is real bhakti. He was so dear to Krishna, so close to Krishna, but when he saw and met the gopis in Vrindavan, he realized he had no bhakti at all. When he saw how surrendered and how much they loved Krishna, even at the expense of giving everything to Krishna, even their own life. Prabhupada tells the story how Krishna had a headache. So Narada Muni came to see him, and he asked Krishna how he was. Krishna said, I have a headache. Narada became concerned, saying, what can I do to relieve your headache? He said, well, there's only one solution. What is that? The dust of the feet of my devotees. I need to take that dust and put it on my head, and then my headache will be relieved. So Narada was thinking, who's going to allow their foot dust on Krishna's head? But then Krishna told him, you go and meet my devotees in different places and ask them. So he went first to the Danyakaranya forest, where he met the sages who were actually worshiping Lord Ram. Later on, they actually became gopis. But he asked them, they had seen Narada, and then they greeted Narada, worshipped him, Narada. And then they asked Narada, well, how is Krishna? And then he said, why he came. He said, well, Krishna has sent me to get the dust from your feet because he has a headache, and that's the only thing that's going to relieve his headache. And when they heard that, they were shocked. They said, put our foot dust on the head of the Supreme Lord Narada. What are you asking? Don't even ask. So Narada left, and he went to other devotees, and they all gave the same answer. He came back to Krishna and said, mission unsuccessful. I couldn't find anyone. Krishna said, all right, just go to Vrindavan and ask the gopis. So he went, And he asked the gopis, and Radharani was there, the gopis were there. And they saw Narada. Oh, Narada, so nice to see you. I know you always get a chance to talk to Krishna. How is he? And then he explained, well, he sent me here to get the dust from your feet because he's got some headache, and that's the only cure. Oh, really? Okay. So they immediately start taking off their bangles and scraping their feet, making piles of dust. Narada was shocked. And then at the same time, they said, Narada, come on. Krishna's got a headache. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Like the dust. And then Narada said, if you put your foot dust on Krishna's head, you're going to go to hell. We don't mind going to hell. We'll go to hell forever if it relieves Krishna's headache, even for a moment. Then Narada understood what is the bhakti of the gopis. They have no personal interest. They'll even give up their existence for the pleasure of Krishna. So when he heard that, and that was understood. So Uddhava met those same gopis, and when he also could see the depth of their bhakti, and therefore Uddhava prayed that in my next birth, I want to simply become a blade of grass in the area of Vrindavan. So when the gopis are going this way and that way, they will step on my head. And he actually got that benediction. He became a blade of grass in Vrindavan. So here's a little bit about the life of Uddhava and how he grew up from his very beginning of his life in a Krishna conscious atmosphere. So this is very instructive for those devotees who live in Grihastha life and have children. They should make sure that whatever they can do to guide and to nourish their children, both materially, taking care of the body, but at the same time, guiding them on the path of self-realization. Because human life is meant for self-realization. There's no second goal. If there's a second goal, it's only to support the first goal, which is prema pumarta maham. Yeah, so that's there throughout the entire scriptures. If we have any other goal in devotional service, we may fulfill that goal, but we won't get Krishna. Sometimes devotees come to Krishna consciousness because they want some position in some religious organization, or they want to gain some material benefits such as money and power, or they want good health, or they even want liberation. But none of these things will attract the Supreme Lord. Therefore, one should purify their desires. I want only Krishna. What do I have to do to achieve the lotus feet of the Lord in devotional service? Therefore, one should take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master, work seriously under his guidance, and by his mercy and your efforts in Krishna consciousness, you can start to experience the happiness of Krishna consciousness and the relief from all of the anxieties that come by living in this material world, which are many. Okay, so here's a little bit about the importance of human form of life, even at the very beginning, how one should guide their children, even at the time of birth or even during the pregnancy. The mother will sometimes read scriptures the child would hear, even though it's in the womb. The child can't understand what is being said, but the child can hear the vibration, and the vibration is purifying. The child can hear the kirtans also, so it's recommended that those who are mothers, they give every opportunity. And once the child is born, they continue to develop that child by giving them Krishna in different forms, whatever way it is. And if they get attached to Krishna, there's one little girl, she's in Govardhan Echo Village. She did an interview with me. She interviews sannyasis. She's 6 years old. She does interviews. And she speaks good English. And yeah, I have that interview where she was interviewing me about Krishna consciousness, asking me questions, you know, about Krishna, about devotional service. So she's only 6 years old. She's very, she was born on Lord Nityananda's appearance day. She's very, what we say, animated. And she sometimes even chastises me. That's okay. Because it's very sweet to get chastised by such a personality. And her mother and father are there. And so there are many children who are in this movement that are really brilliant. I mean, really brilliant, even at such a young age, you know. There's one boy in Vrindavan, he's 7 years old. He can recite the whole Bhagavad Gita. He knows many scriptures by heart. He gives lectures. He answers questions. He's only 7, and he's famous. I forgot his name. Madhava, his name is. Yeah. There's many children like that. I've seen so many kids in our movement. You can see that you know, they're connected with Krishna in a very simple but very, what we say, genuine way. Okay, when you grow up, then you have the problems. Then you start looking at, Bollywood movies and whatever else. Stay young. Okay.
Thank you so much, Maharaj, for such a nectarian pastime of Uddhava. It was so sweet hearing from you, especially. Thank you. Devotees, if you have any questions, comments, realizations, please unmute yourself and ask. We would like to conclude in about an hour, so it'd be nice to raise your hands and ask questions. If you would like to, if you can't speak, then please type it in the chat and I'll read it for you. But don't try not to send the private messages, just send it in the everyone's. Yes, Nagaprabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances at your Lord's feet. All glories to you, Sri Guru Prabhupada. All glories to you. Maharaj, such a wonderful class about the devotional service and how one should strive to execute the devotional service. Thank you so much. My question is regarding the pastime you shared, where Narada Muni was asked by Lord Sri Krishna to get the dust of the feet of a devotee to relieve his headache. We know that Narad Muni is also a very exalted devotee, right? So how do we understand this when the Lord himself has asked for something to relieve his pain? Narad Muni did not offer his own feet dust, but he actually went out to get the dust from other devotees. And whoever he went and asked, they were also exalted devotees to a certain level. Is it because they have a certain level of intelligence that they still are not completely surrendered to Krishna? That's why they could not offer it. How do we understand that?
Well, you have to understand the story. The story was to glorify the gopis.
Okay.
To show Narada Muni and to show the world the quality of the bhakti of the gopis. That was the purpose of the whole thing. So, yeah, but the principle is that if you put your foot dust on Krishna's head, then that's an offense.
Yes.
So they were all thinking, I'm not going to do that. It's like, that's an offense. I'll go to hell. If the Supreme Lord comes and says, give me the foot of your dust of your feet on my head, I need it. Otherwise, I'm suffering. Yeah. I mean, you would definitely hesitate. And most of us wouldn't do it anyway.
Yes,
The gopis didn't care because they didn't, whatever it takes to please Krishna, that's all they want. They'll even go to hell if that's what pleases Krishna. Of course, Krishna won't do things like that, but yet that's the level of their surrender, their bhakti, their love. And so we learn what is the highest principle of bhakti from the gopis. There is no sense of self for the bhakti, for the gopis. It's only about Krishna. They dress nicely because it pleases Krishna. They do, but they're expert in so many ways just to please Krishna, not for their own happiness or aggrandizement. It's only to please Krishna. When Radharani is getting dressed and she's assisted by her gopis, such as Rati Manjari and Rupa Manjari, they're always offering different items for Radharani to put on, and they always say, "Oh, Krishna likes this item, very nice. So wear this today and you'll please Krishna." And then she says, "Well, you know, I wore that a while ago, and he didn't seem like he was happy about that." So she'll say something else. So they'll go back and they'll always try to decide what is the best way that they can dress Radharani in such a way that everything about Radharani becomes an attraction for Krishna.
Okay, Maharaj.
That's an example. That's in what is that scripture? Vilapa Kusum Manjali. You can read it by Shiva
Okay.
Rama.
Shivaram Maharaj. Okay, Maharaj.
Okay, Ananta Shesh, right? Not Naga.
Thank you.
I like your
Thank
other
you,
name.
Maharaj.
I like your other name better, Ananta Shesh.
Yes, Maharaj. Yeah, today I didn't change my name. I usually change my name when I join. I couldn't.
Okay, even your old name is nice.
Oh, thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you, Naga Prabhu. Maharaj, I forgot to mention that we can see half of your face. If you can bring your screen little down. So thank you. Yes, that's better. Hari Hari Jai. Thank you. Any other questions, devotees? So while we're waiting, Maharaj, I have a question to clarify is about the children. I've seen in the new generation coming up, maybe on the western side of the world, the kids, mainly youth, are more interested in kirtan and doing the services at the temple. They go, they will do any service, anything, and they like to sit in long kirtans, but they don't prefer to do japa. So is it okay if they don't develop the test in the japa, but they continue to, even at home with my son as well. He prefers to do kirtan at home even or anywhere, but japa is struggling. So I'm not sure how we can improve the test.
Well, be an example also and be very strict in your own japa.
Hmm.
That's one way. The other way is to look for opportunities to encourage them take up chanting. If you constantly tell them, they'll just turn off. But there's every once in a while you could say something.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Any questions here? What is your name again?
Kirti.
Huh?
Kirti.
Kirti. We have a question from Kirti. We have 3, 6, 7 devotees sitting behind me.
Jai.
We have a devotee I haven't seen in 20 years almost. 5, 6 years ago?
Yeah.
But we didn't talk. It was only when we were in, what was that place? No, the place where you had your place. Torino. Okay. So question from Kirti.
Maharaj, there is one couple of Radhanath Maharaj, they are doctors, and they have written the book of begetting children, what all first parents has to cultivate. So in that one point was, whatever qualities we want in the children, first the parents have to have that qualities, they have to cultivate them. So I found difficulty when striving for those qualities in developing in me. So what do you suggest for that?
Work on it.
It's very difficult. Like,
Well, difficult is not a problem, is not an excuse.
mm,
If you say it's difficult, that means you give up? No, you just try.
mm,
And in Krishna consciousness, you always have the mercy of the Lord available. So if you make an effort, you can go beyond your own difficulties.
And do we have any hope that the child will be having the qualities which we don't have?
Well, you can't say. All you can do is guide accordingly and be an example for what you want them to be. The children learn from their parents more than they learn from mostly every other, person. Even their peers at school are second, the parents are always first. So what they learn at home will be more of, that'll formulate their character. So yeah. Don't worry about the word difficult. Prabhupada used to say impossible is a word in a fool's dictionary. There's no such, if you want to do something in Krishna consciousness and it's sanctioned by God and the Guru, it doesn't matter. Mukhaṁ karoti vācālam yat kripa karatam mande dinatarinam. And even the impossible becomes possible by the mercy of the spiritual master. But you have to endeavor. You have to make an effort. Without your effort, the mercy is not available. When you make an effort, even if you're not up to the standard, you still attract the mercy. It's Krishna that makes everything happen through the spiritual master's mercy. But you have to work for that. You can't just say, well, I'll wait for mercy to come. No, you have. Krishna told him, you have to fight. But don't think your fighting is the cause of victory. He said, fight for the sake of fighting, never consider happiness and distress, honor and dishonor, victory, defeat, but fight for me. So you're doing it as a service. You're not doing it for yourself. If you put your time, energy, and intelligence into what you want to achieve, then you attract Krishna's mercy. But if you sit back and just think, if it happens, okay. If it doesn't happen, it's okay. And what happens? Nothing. You have to make an effort. That's bhakti. You have to show that you want it by your actions, by your words.
Maharaj.
Sini Radha. Fix your camera, we can't see you.
I'm
Hare
sorry,
Krishna.
I was giving milk.
Yeah, please go ahead, Mataji, ask your question.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Gurudev and humble devotees. Maharaj, I had a question like regarding women. If I have heard from some devotees that women should not remain too much in the mode of goodness or engage excessively in devotional service because it can lead to renunciation, which is not considered good for the family life. But at the same time, we also hear that one should practice bhakti so that everything else, material responsibilities and necessities, are automatically fulfilled if we are fixed in Krishna consciousness. Although, Maharaj, we should not worry about material life and should focus on spiritual life. Because I heard in one of the Srila Prabhupada lecture that Srila Prabhupada mentioned that Maharaj Parikshit had 7 days, but we do not even know whether we have 7 minutes or not. So, Maharaj, how should we understand this properly?
So, what is the question? And just summarize the question in a few words. Did you get it, Satyabhama?
Yes, Mara, she's asking that for women, when we do basically devotional service, it gives us detachment and knowledge. And for women, it's not good to be detached basically because she has to run her family. So how should we do it? Because for women, detachment is not good from family. She can't renounce everything. But at the same time, it comes with the devotional service.
It's not a matter of giving up. It's a matter of giving up the idea that by your efforts, everything will happen. So it's detachment from the results, but the effort to still must be made. So Prabhupada used to say, of course, actually not Prabhupada, but devotees have said, in devotional service, you have to act like it depends on you, and you have to know it doesn't. Now, that seems like somewhat of an, oxymoron, or two things that are opposite. You have to act like it depends on you. That means you have to give out your full effort, time, energy, intelligence, whatever else you have. But only if Krishna is pleased, when Krishna gives the results. Or he doesn't give the results, or he gives a different result. We can't make things happen, but we can make an effort. That's all. We try our best. That's all. The rest is up to the mercy of the Lord. But if you're sincere, the mercy will definitely be there. So it's not a matter of renunciation or detachment. It's a matter of service. That's all.
Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thank you, Rasmi Mataji. Any questions from the audience there?
They're all very much in meditation here.
So Maharaj, sorry, go on.
Do you have a question?
No, I just said that after the story with gopis, the understanding came that actually they love Krishna just because they love him. I mean, they don't love him because he is God or something like that. They're not expecting.
Pure love is Pure love is selfless. When you love in this world is not selfless because people are looking for reciprocation. But pure love is not asking for anything in return. Pure love is satisfied, just giving away. And if that love creates happiness or benefits the object of love, that is the happiness of the person. You become happy when someone else benefits for what you do to them. Yeah, and even the gopis, we can't imitate the gopis, don't try, but we get an understanding of what is the highest understanding of bhakti. As lisyava pinaratam punastumam darshanam mamahatam karotu va yata tata yava didadatu lampato matpranam nastu sa evana. Even if you kick me, you break me, you don't pay, in other words, you neglect me, you're still my worshipful Lord unconditionally. So that's the highest. That love is not dependent on anything but itself. So where do you find that in the material world? You don't. It only can be done in relationship to the absolute truth. Because Krishna is all attractive. There's no imperfections in Krishna. Everything about Krishna is wonderful.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay, so any questions?
Just one question I want to check, Maharaj, that yesterday only we were discussing Uddhava's topic with our group here in London. And I was told that Uddhava and Ashwatthama is still on the earth planet. Like Uddhava, we understand from Krishna's pastime that he was instructed to go to Badrika ashram. So do you think that he's still, existing like Hanuman and they're still here?
It's called Chiranjivan. Chiranjivan means they don't die. There's, I think, 7 people, 7 or 8 who are Chiranjivans. Vyasadeva is one, Hanuman, Vibhishan. These are all Chiranjivans. Who else? There's other personalities. Asvatthama, his life is very interesting.
Thank you, Maharaj. Yeah.
Today is Lochan Das Thakur's disappearance day. Can you speak something about Lochan Das Thakur? He wrote one biography of Lord Chaitanya called Chaitanya Mangala. There are 3 main authors of Lord Chaitanya's Leelas: Vrindavan Das Thakur, Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, and Lochan Das Thakur. So Lochan wrote a shorter version of the life, and there's one book called Chaitanya Mangala. But he covers some of the pastimes that the other acharyas don't cover in detail. It's really sweet and it's deep. I don't know too much more about Lochan Das Thakur. I can look on my phone and read something. But that's all I know. He was a disciple of, what's that? Narahari Sakar. Yeah, the one who used to fan Lord Chaitanya. Lochan Das. What's today's day? Today is the 8th. Today is 8th or 9th?
9th, Maharaj.
Today is Jayadev Goswami's disappearance day.
Okay.
Lochan Das Thakur is Jayadev Goswami. Tomorrow is Lochan Das, the 10th. Today is Jayadev.
Normally in Western countries, the day before.
Huh?
Sometimes in Western countries, the day before.
Yeah, it depends where you are in the world.
But maybe they are not in India.
Yeah, you guys are not in India, are you? The Rasa Vilasini. Today in India is Jayadev Goswami's disappearance. Jayadev Goswami, what wrote Gita Govinda, he was a great Vaishnava. Jayadev Goswami, I'll tell one story. We don't have more than 10, 15 minutes left in the class. Do you want to focus on questions or you want to hear the story?
There are no more questions, Maharaj, currently, so we can maybe devotees would like to hear the story. Very nice.
Jayadev Goswami was living in the area of Jagannath Puri. And he's famous for his book, Gita Govinda, which is really an intimate pastimes of Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. But one day he was writing his book, and the thought came to his mind that Krishna takes the dust of Srimati Radharani's lotus feet on his head. And then he was thinking, that's not right. The thought came in his mind and he thought, that's not right. So then he decided to continue writing, but he couldn't. After rejecting that thought, he couldn't think of anything to write, so he stopped. So then he turned to his wife and he said, I'm going down to the river to bathe, and so have some prasadam ready, I'll be back. So he left. While he was gone, Krishna took the form of Jayadev and came to his house. And then Krishna went over to the book and started writing, and then he came back to the wife of Jayadev. He looks like Jayadev, but he's Krishna. He says, is the prasadam? Yeah, she said, okay. So he ate the prasadam, and he left some remnants for the wife, and then he left. And then after some time, the real Jayadev came, and he said to his wife, is prasadam ready? And she said, what do you mean? You were just here. You just had prasadam. He said, what are you saying? I'm just coming now. No, you were here. You walked over and you wrote in your book. Go look. So he went over and looked on the book, and he saw that statement that Krishna takes the dust of Radharani's lotus feet on his head. Then he understood that Krishna actually came. And then he said, he went to his wife, he said, just see how fortunate you are. You actually got the remnants of Krishna directly. So that's one of the pastimes with Jayadev Goswami. There are others. He was so detached that one king wanted to wanted to give him as much wealth as he could possibly ask for if he would counsel the king in spiritual life. He said, no, I don't associate with worldly people. So he rejected that. So there's other stories. You can read about the life of Jayadev.
Thank you, Maharaj.
He is also, he wrote the, what is that? Dasamula Stotra? Yeah, Dasamula Stotra. Nav tavakara kamala varena kama bhuta sringam dalikaliranya kashiputanu briham kesavadritam narahari rupam jaya jagadisha hare jaya jagadisha hare what are some of the other ones? Vasati vasana sikare labya charanikara Kesavadita kurma sarira jaya jagati. So he wrote the Dasamula Sastras about the Leela avatars. Kurma, Matsya, Kurma, Stringa, and then who was after? No, Varaha, then the Stringa, then Parasuram, then Vamana, Buddha, and then Balaram, and then what's one word? And then the last one was Kalpi. Kalpi Avatar 10. But that's these bhajans are very sweet, and they glorify the Leela avatars. We sing them on their appearance days usually.
Thank you, Maharaj. That's so sweet. Very nice hearing that on the parents' day of Jayadev Goswamis. So there is a question, Maharaj, but it's off the topic. If you want to maybe answer it. Maharaj mentioned while answering the previous question, Ashwatthama's life is interesting. Would Maharaj be willing to elucidate on that point further? What are the some key learnings from Ashwatthama's life that devotees need to know to practice bhakti in their daily life?
Some recent text has been released that Ashwatthama has been seen in the area of Vrindavan. He's wandering around Vrindavan even today, and he's chanting Hare Krishna. And so it mentions in a very prophetic way that he'll finish his life and give up his body in Vrindavan soon. It doesn't say when, but soon. And then in his next life, he'll become one of the 7 rishis, the Sapta rishis that circle the planet of Svetadweep. Was it Dhruvaloka? On the island of, on the plate of Dhruvaloka, there's the island of Svetadweep where Shirdaksai Vishnu stays, yeah. So, yeah. So his future is pretty good. But he had to roam the earth for thousands of years without any association because he was cursed. His body was emanating a very foul odor, and no one could go near him. And he was cursed because of his sinful activities of killing the 5 sons of Draupadi. So after roaming the earth for 5,000 years, now he made it to Vrindavan. And so now there are people who see him even today, but he doesn't associate or can't associate with anybody. So I read the one text, I can't remember where I read it, was a couple of years ago, describing how he would eventually attain to becoming one of the 7 rishis that have a planet that circumambulates Svetadweep, Dhruvaloka, where Shirodakshai Vishnu stays in the material world. So that's the okay. I think we have to, because I get chastised if I stay too long. Really?
Raj Prabhu, I'm not sure what is your question. If it's a quick one, we can take it now. Otherwise, you can ask it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Go
If
on.
Maharaj, a quick question. Jaydev Goswami also wrote Geet Govind, I guess. Is there any rules and regulations regarding singing Geet Govind? I heard some devotee that Prabhupada never sang Geet Govind.
Yeah,
Is
stay
that
away. Yeah, it's not necessary. It's very intimate. It's for the Rasika Bhaktas, for those who are on the highest platform. Prabhupada cautioned us not to delve into such topics, because we'll simply misunderstand or we'll commit offenses. Very intimate between Radha and Krishna. So anyway, that's another story. Yeah, so we have a lot to read. First understand the first canto of Bhagavatam before you go any further. Really. Okay, so thank you.
So much, Maharaj, for your time in association. Thank you. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
Are you going to be there tomorrow too?
Yes, Maharaj.
Oh no.
I'm sorry, you have to tolerate me.
It's all right. I need some austerity in life. We still love you. But
Thank you. Thank
you know
you.
what I did? I wanted to call you, but I know another Satyabhama in Canada. So I made a mistake and I called her. And she said, "Oh, Maharaj, I'm not the one you're looking for." She said, "But can you talk to me?" I said, "No." Then we hung up, and then she wrote me a message, "Call me back. I want to hear all about Radhanath Swami's yatra." So I just spoke to her last night for about a half hour.
Then I miss your call then, Maharaj.
Yeah, you were hiding.
I'm hiding behind you, Maharaj.
Anyway, continue with, are you still doing books after the marathon?
Not now, but we will do a monthly now, once in a month, because it becomes very tricky with temple services and Bhakti Vriksha, everything else going on. So we will do once a month.
Your temple do this year?
Sorry, Maharaj?
How did the temple do this year? Good?
Our temple did very well, Maharaj, very nice. Even kids went out all 24 days. So it was amazing. Very good book marathon, as always. And Book Sankirtan UK national team is very happy.
In London. And London's not easy because you wear the dog. Okay, thank you very much, and we'll see you all tomorrow. I just tease you, Satyabam, because you're so nice.
Because you're very nice, Maharaj. You're very sweet, kind, and merciful.
I don't even know how to spell those words.
Jai. Guru Maharaj ki Jai.
Kashipu is also seen as kind and merciful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
My basis is to all the devotees. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Guru Maharaj.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hari Hari.
Thank you, Guru